June 6, 1944. The English Channel, 23 kilometers off the Normandy coast. The world holds its breath in the black pre-dawn. Salt water slams over the bow of landing craft Tank 2273 as Lieutenant Dean Rockwell clutches his radio handset like a lifeline. Through the murk, he spots the ghostly outlines of 32 amphibious Sherman tanks, their canvas flotation screens raised high, looking like strange ironclad ships from another age. The message crackles through, Task Force O, H-hour locked in at 0630. Beach obstacles confirmed. German fortifications standing tall and deadly. Captain Ned Elder of the 743rd Tank Battalion peers through spray-soaked binoculars at 5-foot swells and makes the call that will save hundreds of American lives. No swimming for the DD tanks today. They ride the landing craft straight onto the sand. What none of them realize in that churning sea is that this one gut decision will ignite the most explosive armored breakthrough of the entire European campaign. The hedgerows of Normandy have already taught the Germans a brutal truth: their tigers and panthers are kings of the battlefield. Thicker armor, deadlier 88mm guns, mechanical masterpieces that turn defensive ground into killing fields. The Wehrmacht has spent years perfecting this art. Hundreds of hidden bunkers, anti-tank guns zeroed in on every road and field, dragon's teeth obstacles funneling Allied armor into pre-planned slaughter zones. But the Sherman is different. It's the embodiment of American grit and mass production. 33 tons of steel powered by a Chrysler multibank engine that growls like a Detroit assembly line. Staff Sergeant Paul Reagan stands in the commander's hatch aboard LCT 600, scanning the horizon. His tank carries 90 rounds of 75mm shells, 4,750 rounds of 30 caliber machine gun ammo, and the entire weight of the amphibious assault on its back. The Sherman isn't a technical marvel. It's a workhorse. While a single Tiger costs $250,000 Reichsmarks and demands expert mechanics, the Sherman rolls off factory floors by the thousands. Chrysler's Detroit tank arsenal alone pumps out over 400 a month in 1944. America builds more than 2,000 Shermans every 30 days at peak. Germany struggles to make 100 Tigers. The numbers don't lie. Reliability, fuel efficiency, easy repairs. America's tanks are built to fight, break, and fight again, fixed by farm kids from Kansas with a wrench and sheer willpower. Tank Commander William Focusad trained with the 743rd at Camp Laguna, Arizona. He'll earn a Silver Star and Purple Heart before this day ends. He knows victory isn't about the thickest armor or the biggest gun. It's about getting steel on target, keeping the momentum, and outthinking the enemy before they can blink. Aboard Panther 424 of the 2nd Panzer Division, Unteroffizier Klaus Weber checks his loadout: 79 rounds for the long-barreled 75mm KWK-42, 4,200 machine gun rounds. His Panther's front armor slopes at 55 degrees, effectively 140mm thick. American 75s can't touch it past 100 meters. 45 tons, a Maybach engine that guzzles fuel like a thirsty giant. But hold down in a Normandy hedgerow with overlapping fields of fire, the Panther doesn't need to move. It just needs to kill. The German defenses at Omaha Beach are a 2-year masterpiece of concrete and steel. Wider stands Nest 62 overlooks easy red sector, machine gun nests, a 50mm anti-tank gun, mortar pits. Hinrich so behind an MG-42 will later claim 12,000 rounds fired. A wild exaggeration, but the intent is clear. The kill zones are perfect. No dead ground. No cover. Pre-registered artillery ready to rain hell in 30 seconds flat. At 0550, Captain Elder on LCT 2037 studies the sea state. 5 to 6 foot waves. 18-knot winds whipping in from the west. The DD tank's canvas screens were built for 3-foot seas. Launch them now and they'll sink like stones. Of the 64 Shermans scheduled to swim ashore at Omaha, only 29 from the 741st Tank Battalion even try. 27 vanish beneath the waves. But Elder's 743rd holds firm. 32 DD tanks plus support vehicles ride their landing craft straight to dog green and dog red sectors. It means exposing the thin-skinned LCTs to direct fire, but the alternative is losing the tanks before they fire a shot. 0615. The naval bombardment erupts. USS Texas hurls 14-inch shells at the bluffs. USS Arkansas adds 12-inch fury. Destroyers creep to within 1,000 yards, pounding bunkers point blank. It's supposed to be 40 minutes of pure destruction. In reality, low clouds force bombers to drop late. Of 446 B-24 Liberators, not one bomb lands on the beach. Most explode harmlessly inland. 0629, 1 minute before H-hour. Company A, 743rd Tank Battalion rolls off their LCTs into 4 feet of water. Deep wading kits, exhaust stacks jury-rigged skyward, let them ford 6 feet deep. Tracks grind shingle. 75mm guns swing toward the bluffs. The German response is instant and vicious. An 88 in WN-61 fires 8 rounds in 90 seconds. 3 Shermans erupt in fireballs, ammo cooking off and orange infernos visible from the fleet offshore. Machine guns spark off hulls like demonic hail. Mortars walk the beach with surgical precision. But the Shermans keep coming. By 0700, 40 tanks are ashore. Some burn. Others throw tracks on obstacles or bog in the shingle. The ones still rolling open fire. The psychological shock hits the Germans like a freight train. They expected infantry. They get steel monsters that shrug off machine gun fire and answer with high explosive shells. Technical Sergeant John Dukin lands in the second wave at 0640. His tank eats 2 50mm hits, penetrations, but nothing vital. Driver Private First Class Howard Froberg floors it straight at the gun emplacement, while the gunner pumps 5 rounds into the bunker. Silence. This becomes the rhythm. Radios are dead from saltwater. Tank commanders fight their own private wars. A Sherman soaks up small arms fire, while its 75 obliterates machine gun nests. The bow-mounted .30 caliber, unique to American tanks, pins down infantry while the main gun cracks concrete. By 0730, the crisis is obvious. General Omar Bradley aboard USS Augusta considers rerouting follow-ups to Utah Beach. The 16th Infantry Regiment is shredded. Company A is gone. Company E down to 23 men from 180. The beach is a graveyard of gear and wounded. But the tanks change everything. Lieutenant Colonel Robert Plugger directs Company C to hit fortifications at the Lemulin Draw. White phosphorus rounds mark targets, then high explosive follows. The burning particles seep into vision slits, forcing Germans to abandon posts. At 0815, WN-66 radios command, enemy tanks on beach. Infantry broken. Tanks advancing? Need anti-tank support now? The reply is grim. No reserves. The 352 ND Division's anti-tank battalion is 10 miles inland, held back by Rommel's orders against airborne threats. The Sherman's simplicity shines. Tank Barbara, of Company B, takes 7 hits in the first hour. Loses bogey wheels, turret traverse jams, fuel leaks. Crew patches it with battlefield spares and basic tools. By 0900, Barbara is back in the fight at Vierville Draw. Tigers and Panthers need cranes and specialists. Shermans get fixed by their own crews, parts scavenged from wrecks. Tracks replaced under fire. Barrels swapped in 20 minutes. Engines coaxed back with duct tape and prayer. 0845. First German armor shows. 2 Stoogie 3 assault guns from the 352nd engage at 800 meters. Their 75mm Stuka 40 can punch through Shermans at that range. But numbers tell. 5 Shermans per Stoogie. The assault guns bag 2 before concentrated fire turns them into scrap. By 0900, engineers blow gaps in the seawall at Easy Red. Shermans roll inland, hitting German positions from the flanks. The Atlantic wall cracks. Private First Class Charles Lombardo is one of only 2 DD tanks from the 741st that swam ashore. Waterlogged but alive, his tank blasts a bunker at 100 meters, 5 armor-piercing, then high explosive. The bunker had pinned an entire infantry company. With it gone, 150 GIs surge forward. German Panzerfaust teams deploy. Single-shot rockets that can gut a tank at 30 meters. Every hedgerow hides death. But America learned hard lessons in Sicily and Italy. Infantry walks point with every Sherman, clearing hedges, checking windows. Tank infantry teams become one organism. 10:30. German reinforcements arrive with Panzerschrecks, rocket launchers that punch 200 mm at 30 meters. Same drill. Americans learned. Infantry screens. Shermans fire, smoke, maneuver, flank. In the days after D-Day, Panthers from the 2nd Panzer and Tigers from the 101st SS Heavy Panzer Battalion clashed near Caen and Villers-Bocage. German tanks are better one-on-one. But American tactics win. One platoon fixes frontally. Another swings wide. 3 Shermans for 1 Panther is acceptable math when America builds 30 for every German one. By noon, 51 Shermans are operational on and just inland from Omaha. 40% lost, but the mission is done. The beach is secured. Follow-ups land without massacre. German morale cracks. The myth of the impregnable Atlantic Wall shatters. At 352nd Division HQ, General Dietrich Kreis gets the reports. American tanks overwhelming defenses. WN positions falling. Enemy armor pushing on Colleville. By 1300, he knows Omaha is lost. No armor to counter. Infantry retreats. The tanks do more than kill. They shield engineers clearing obstacles. Their 75s reach bunkers naval guns can't. Most of all, they give American infantry hope. GIs frozen behind obstacles see Shermans rolling forward and follow. Deep wading kits, waterproofed ammo bins, rear-deck telephones for infantry to talk to crews, all pay off. By 1400, tanks push inland toward D-Day objectives. Hedgerows, ancient earth walls 3 feet thick, topped with brush, slow the advance. Tanks climbing expose bellies to fire. American ingenuity answers. Sergeant Curtis Cullen of the 102nd Cavalry Recon sees German beach hedgehogs, steel obstacles meant to gut landing craft. He cuts them up, welds the prongs to Sherman fronts. Rhino tanks are born. A Tennessee private jokes. Put saw teeth on the front and chew through these damn hedges. Cullen makes it real. By nightfall June 6th, maintenance crews work by torchlight. By dawn June 7th, 15 rhinos ready. Within a week, 60% of American tanks in Normandy sport them. Hitler's response is paralyzed. Convinced Normandy is a feint, the real invasion at Pas-de-Calais, he holds the panzer reserves. The 2nd SS Panzer Division, 130 miles away, isn't released until late afternoon. By then, American tanks block every road. At 1600, Company B, 743rd meets its first Tiger near Formigny. SS Unterscharfer Wilhelm Müller, veteran of Kursk with 19 T-34 kills, lines up his 88. Range, 2,000 meters. Lethal. But American tactics evolved. Lieutenant James Johnson orders smoke. 1 Sherman suppresses. 3 flank through an orchard. Müller fixates on the decoy. Too late. 5 rounds into the Tiger's engine deck at 200 meters. The beast dies in smoke. Müller's crew bails out. Word spreads, even Tigers burn. By 1800, the 743rd and 741st hold a continuous line inland. 48 tanks gone. 45 crew dead. 60 wounded. But 58 operational Shermans broke the wall. German losses: bunkers smashed, 3 Stooges, 1 Tiger, 3 Panthers, hundreds of infantry. Sherman's 75s devastate fortifications. Reliability stuns, 70% still running after saltwater, obstacles, combat. 6 Tiger IIs sent to Normandy in July. 5 break down en route. Night of June 6 to 7th, crews weld rhino teeth from beach steel. June 7 Diary of the 352nd. Enemy tank attacks with massive artillery render positions untenable. Withdrawal authorized. The Atlantic Wall is obsolete. General Bradley later writes, "The tanks saved Omaha. Without them, we'd have been thrown back into the sea. The 29th Infantry Division's companies take 50% casualties. The tank battalions lose heavy but keep fighting. Their steel turns disaster into victory. July 25th, Operation Cobra, 3,000 aircraft, 700 Shermans, 60% rhinos, punch the bocage. Stalemate becomes rout. German armor in Normandy, destroyed. 2nd Panzer from 180 tanks to 25. 116th Panzer, 120 to 10. 1st SS Leibstandard, 150 to 17. Falaise Pocket, burning tigers litter roads. Crews flee on foot. American losses hurt. 743rd loses 51 tanks destroyed, 80 need major repair. Crew casualties over 50%. But replacements flow. 2 Shermans for every one lost. 3 crewmen in training for every one buried. Tank crews joke darkly. Sherman, the Ronson lighter. Lights first time, every time. But they know, their sacrifice wins. Private Wayne Robinson on. Barbara. She wasn't the best. Germans had better. But she was there. Took us through hell. Got us home. That's all you ask of a tank, or a friend. Tech evolves. British Fireflies with 17-pounders arrive, 1 in 4 Shermans by August. American 76mm Shermans from July. But tactics win, combined arms, mobility, mass. Infantry, artillery, engineers, air, Shermans lead the orchestra. German ace Otto Carius, 150 Eastern Front kills, later admits. Americans understood. War isn't the best tank. It's enough good tanks, fuel, parts, trained men. We had the best. They had everything else. Post-war stats, Shermans hit 1.2 times on average. 60% permanent loss. 20% field repair. 20% depot. Crew survival, 75%. Panthers, 2.3 penetrations to kill, but 80% unrecoverable. Tigers, 45% crew survival. Bocage lessons spread, dozer blades, tank phones standard. German armor myth dies. August 1944 breakout. Germany loses mobile war capacity in the West. Panzer elite, Russia survivors, dead or captured. Training can't replace them. Sherman criticized for thin armor, weak gun, gas engine. True in vacuum. But war isn't vacuum. Sherman is a system, industry, logistics, tactics. Admiral Bertram Ramsay. Success wasn't one weapon. It was Allied industry, logistics, adaptation. Sherman embodied it. Not perfect. Perfectly adequate. Legacy, validates U.S. doctrine. Quantity, reliability, flexibility over perfection. Influences M48, M60, early M1 Abrams. German theorist Heinz Guderian. We made the perfect tank. Americans made the tank that won. Perfect is enemy of good enough, especially when good enough comes in thousands. Omaha Memorial, a 743rd Sherman, shell-scarred, flowers at its feet. Inscription. To those who came in steel coffins to give us freedom. The numbers, June 1944, Germany fields 1,500 tanks all fronts. America builds 2,000 Shermans that month. August, Allies 4,000 tanks in Northwest Europe. Germany under 500. Math of industrial war, tactical superiority irrelevant. Tiger wins battles. Sherman wins wars. Rommel's papers, found after his 1944 suicide. Americans come with thousands of tanks. Not better. Thousands. We cannot stop thousands. War lost when first American tank rolls off the beach. 0629, June 6th, first Sherman of Company A, 743rd hits Normandy sand. At that moment, the West is decided. Hundreds of thousands more will die. But the Sherman, imperfect, mass-produced, crewed by citizen soldiers, breaks the wall, liberates Europe, ends the Reich. Its legacy, modern warfare, is industry, logistics, adaptation. Not specs. Tigers rust in Norman fields, engineering wonders, individually supreme, collectively defeated. Sherman wasn't best tank of World War II. It was the tank that won World War II. In the arithmetic of victory, that's the only number that counts.